and welcome back to the table. 'Tis I, your favorite southern fried, sometimes beer drinking drag queen, Shelly Von Miller. Look, I don't drink that much anymore, but look, I do love a good beer. And I don't drink and drag because that's how you break things, kids. Learn your lessons from other drag queens. Not me, just other drag queens. There you go. Well, we are lucky enough to have some of our one of our favorite northern neighbors again on the podcast. It's really great. I love whenever we have like non-Americans on the podcast because then I could be like, I'm learning. This episode we have host of Roll for Beer, owner of Logomancy Media from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and a ramshackle wizard on and off screen. Welcome to the table, James from Logomancy. Hello, hello.
Hello. It's a pleasure to be here. I always appreciate the chance to, open my mouth and ramble it at people for an hour.
Well, that's why you are a ramble wizard. a ramshackle, ramble, either way.
It works.
Either way.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Exactly. Well, see, I warned you beforehand that I was going to try to do my best wrestling impression, and it's mostly the announcer going, Calgary. Look, if you watched WWE during the 90s, you know all too well the voice of the announcers, and it's just a great time.
I have a story to tell you about a little later on.
Oh, okay.
That came up recently for a charity game that we had to figure some stuff out for.
Oh,
steel chairs to the back.
Love it. Well, for those who don't know who you are and who Logomancy Media is, let the people know.
Yeah. So I'm James. I run Logomancy out of Calgary, Alberta. We've been in the TTRPG space since about 2021. We got started doing a charity game for Make-A-Wish. And after seeing a fair bit of success with that, we decided, 271,000 people watched this on Twitch in the last 12 hours. We should do this more. And so we did, and stayed very much in that social profit space, right? Logomancy is not a nonprofit. It's a social profit. So everything that we make out of it goes back into bettering the communities, putting a little bit more good back into the world, and, helping folks out. That's kind of the, if we still used mission statements and value statements in this 2026 year, it would probably be something along those lines.
We should probably bring those back, because sometimes companies need to be reminded of what their mission and values are.
They're just a lie most of the time. And then
That's true. It's
just noise at that point.
Yeah. Trust me, there's plenty of big businesses that have those lovely little things, and
Yeah. I've taken to adopting Will Wheaton's motto through it all of don't be a dick. Or as I teach my children, you don't have to be nice, but never fail to be kind, right? Never be cruel, always be kind. But if you don't have to be nice about it, it's a thing.
Yeah, niceness is one of those things. I feel like it's pushed upon Canadians. I've heard a lot that Canadians are so nice. They're super nice. The same way that people say about Southern people, and it's just I don't know about all that.
Here's the thing. Politeness and kindness are often mistaken for nice, right? So we've got there's the thing of the Canadian standoff. I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
Is it the I'll talk to you later, and then you'll talk for 5 more minutes, and then it's I'll talk to you later?
Oh, it's when you've got a double door, like a French door, and you both open it going into a building. It's after you. No, after you. And then you freeze to death outside because the seasons have passed. And it's kind of like when a fae invites a vampire into their home. The vampire's can't enter unless they've been invited in, but once they've been invited in, they are bound by certain rules, and it's just a standoff.
Look, I'm perfectly okay with that. That's
Yeah.
I've taken, so I learned this thing from my time in the Middle East of, if you want somebody to accept like a compliment or like to go through a door, and be like, I insist.
Mhm.
I insist. And then it's like by proxy they're like, oh, I have to do this or I look like an asshole.
I have an obligation now to do so.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, I insist.
The way we say it is, it would make me feel better.
It would make me feel better if you just did this. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a very you're familiar with how we all say "a"?
Yes.
So, do you know where that's rooted from historically?
No. And I would love to learn as a former history person. So I would love to know.
Much like your nation, ours was founded by voyageurs and fur trappers, traders, settlers and pioneers and indigenous folks. There was a tradition here because people were, by and large, working in trade to speak in the affirmative. Because Canada was multilingual, both with Aboriginal languages and French and a spattering of English, you would say something and then you would say, right? Because the person that you're speaking to might only know a little bit of French or English or, any number of the Aboriginal languages that we have, or they might have been Métis and had a big spattering of all of them mixed together.
I love that. That's an interest. It's just like the easiest way to kind of bridge all the languages and all the cultures and be like, yeah, we understand.
And if you find yourself talking to a Canadian in modern day, when we're like, right? Because we're not like soapboxing. We're trying to have a conversation, and that's a prompt for, was I clear? Did you hear me? Please, like, and now you. After you, please. I insist.
After, please, I insist. Amazing. Well, okay, so let's kind of go back before Logomancy. What's your origin stories in TTRPGs, and like what were you making content on Twitch before Logomancy?
No, not at all. So I started in TTRPGs in the, I'm going to say it was around the mid 90s or so. I'm going to date myself here a little bit. And why wouldn't I? I'm fabulous. I got started in 3rd edition D&D. And some friends had a whole bunch of Rifts books kicking around because they were a big Ninja Turtles fan. So I'm like, all right, I'll learn this. This is weird and strangely like we keep breaking the game, and lo and behold, that's how Rifts works. It's it's good for nostalgia, but it's not the best design to play now. I grew up in a small coal mining town out in British Columbia, and there wasn't really a whole lot to do, especially if you were of an age of not driving and didn't have a whole lot of discretionary income. So D&D was free, and we could sit with friends and just play and drink Mountain Dew and attack the darkness. Like it's a legitimate thing that happened. As much as we meme on it nowadays, it's just kind of how it worked.
And plus, like in Canada, y'all have basements. Like you could literally just have the nostalgia 80s 90s thing of being in a basement playing games.
I'm in a basement studio right now.
See, there you go. There you go. We don't have those in Texas. And every time I see a movie that's like Texas with a basement, I'm like, that's a lie. That's a lie.
This prompts a story, and I got a segue for just a moment. So
I don't mind.
We were at Gen Con, I want to say, and Ray from MythWorks Games was putting on a shindig at this place called the Velvet Whip. In wait, no, this would have been PAX. It was in Philadelphia, I think.
Oh, okay. I was like, it's called the Velvet Whip in Indianapolis.
No, I'm pretty sure this was a PAX thing. Time is a weird soup, but
understandable.
I've get this invite, and they're like, go to this place and find the storm door, and I'm like, the fuck's a storm door? Because we don't have those here. And I find out that it's, angled doors in an alleyway that has a very steep set of stairs. And I'm like, that's not to code. This isn't a thing. Why would you do this? And yeah, I learned what storm doors are and about like tornadoes and hurricanes. And why don't you have basements in Texas if you have tornadoes there?
So where I live in Texas, I'm in Houston, which is on the coast.
Okay.
So if we were to have a basement, it would just flood because of the flooding that we have, and because we have hurricanes. Yeah. And so we do have tornadoes occasionally. We just hide in the bathtub.
Yeah, but wouldn't you just like sump it out?
Look, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules, but I will say our ground is kind of, in certain areas it's either really swampy, so it doesn't hold and everything like that. Yeah. Like for example, there are historical buildings that do have basements in like our downtown area. They do flood and their foundation's really bad. And then I mean, with a state that's constantly changing and constantly evolving like ours, despite, I say evolving only in the sense of people in a place, not necessarily mindset in a place.
That's fair. Yeah.
I only wish it would evolve mindset in a place.
You're getting a whole bunch of weather that you don't normally experience. Take for granted.
Occasionally. I mean, it was like 40 something yesterday as we're recording this, and today it turned to 70.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's also that, like, our ground is weird, our weather changes all the time, and with the cities ever expanding, like especially the big cities or even going into some of the small towns, it's way faster and easier and cheaper to not build out a basement. They could just throw up a couple of houses and just get skedaddle and make $300,000, $400,000 on a house. So, yeah, our housing is great.
I did have to look up the metrics by which you're sharing freedom units.
Oh yeah, I have to do math. That's not great for me. I think it's like, so 40 is like 10, 20?
40 degrees Fahrenheit is 4.5 degrees Celsius.
Oh, okay, see, so I'm like totally wrong. Yeah. It was t-shirt weather for me.
Yeah.
I mean, but I like to be cold. That's called not having a soul.
We had this conversation a little while ago. Dixie Bell from the Pocket Dragon Pub is a friend of ours from Florida. And when we went to Philly for PAX, she's like, oh my God, I'm going to need a winter coat. I'm like, it is 1 degree. It is like, what's freezing for you? 32 degrees.
32, yeah.
So it's like 35 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm like, I'm wearing shorts. This is great. Like,
yeah, Florida's a little weird because they don't get cold.
Not me.
I'll say it again. Florida's fucking weird. And that's coming from a Texan. But yeah, no, it's one of those things. It's like, I was happy whenever I was not Philly 2024 because I was cold, but Philly 2025. I was just like flip-flops,
yeah, short
sleeve, because I was like, oh, this is nothing. This is great. I'm warm. I'm too warm. But that's also, I'm
Well, and
I'm here.
we flew her up to help out with GameCon Canada in June
Oh, wow.
of 2025, and it was hot. It was about 20 degrees for us, which for me, like, anything higher than 16 and I'm done. So like
That's
68
eight.
Fahrenheit.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
I wish.
So like 70 degrees outside in the sun. No, that's you're sweating. You're not having a good time. I don't need that. She's like, I'm cold, and I'm like, you're broken.
Yeah, the one time I've been to Canada, it was in June, and it was like 65, and I had those windows up. I sleep in the cold year round, and so I'm like, windows open. I'm like, this is so nice.
Where'd you go? What'd you check out?
I was in Victoria. I was on Vancouver Island. I was in Victoria, so I loved it. I took the ferry across from Washington because I had my car, so I went over and took the. Well, I don't think it's the Black Ball anymore.
I don't believe. I've only actually taken the ferry a handful of times. I did the West Coast Trail.
Oh, okay.
My partner.
Let's see. Yeah, it was the Black Ball a couple of years ago, but this was like pre-COVID, and I know things have gone cuckoo bananas in general. But yeah, it was great. And then I took the ferry over to Vancouver, and I was there for a work conference whenever I was in academia, and I was like, I'm going to go do drag in Vancouver. I'm internationally known.
The rest of the country, we're probably a little too hard on folks from them.
I've heard jokes about BC from Canadians, and I'm like, I love it there. It's expensive, but
well, Vancouver is expensive.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
would
from the inner Kootenays. So like I grew up in the bush. In a small mountain town full of rednecks and guns. And
hey, that's similarities. We're crossing divides.
Vastly different from the folks that grew up on the coast. But they get like I'll say like an inch of snow and lose their minds. Whereas where I grew up, it's refreshing because when I look out the window and I see 3 feet of snow, I'm using freedom units on purpose here. I can tell that it's going to be fucking cold. And that was the hardest thing about moving to Calgary is this is the plains. There's no mountains to speak of. And I look out my window and I can't tell if it's going to be fucking cold until I open the door. It could be like positive 20. It could be minus 50. I can't tell till I open the door.
Yeah,
wrong.
With nothing. I lived in the middle of nowhere, Texas, which is like west, like far west. Like there's nothing but oil rigs and tumbleweeds and cotton. You don't, and like there's nothing blocking. There's no mountains. There's no trees. I grew up on the east side of Texas where there's trees and like, things blocking the wind and the rain and everything like that. I understand all too well. You walk out and you're like, oh, I don't like this. Why is it so cold? And why is the wind trying to kill me?
Spiders and scorpions and snakes. This is where I live, where the air hurts my face.
That's snakes and stuff here, but well, yeah, that's understandable because planes and stuff like that, they like to hide. Yeah. They like to hide. Well, okay, so I guess taking all that in your background into,
I squirreled a little bit. Away from the main.
It's okay.
So the origin story.
Yeah, the origin story. Playing games in your basement, but how did you get into the AP space? Was it through just the Make-A-Wish game, or had you been doing that elsewhere?
I run one of Calgary's largest Dungeons and Dragons community groups, just like through Facebook. We've got a couple thousand members. We would get together at local game stores and have 30 or 40 people all playing the same module. Right? Where it's like you've got 5 GMs and they're all keeping everything roughly at the same pace. So if somebody missed a week or if they you came in and you were at a different table with a different GM, you were still kind of picking up the adventure where you left off. At the time, so Twitch has a bunch of partner cities. There's like Twitch Calgary, Twitch Vancouver, Twitch Toronto, yada yada. And my business partner in Logomancy, David, he sits on the board for Twitch Calgary, just like as a community group. And Make-A-Wish had come in, and Twitch gave them, a sizable chunk of change and said, here's our community donation or charity donation. Use this money to do something cool in streaming to fundraise. They're throwing bucks at it. And she said, well, Critical Role's really popular right now. Can we do something like that? And they rented out a TV studio and got a whole big production crew of stuff. And I'll share some photos so you can like overlay it in the video for doobly-doos. And they said, all right, yeah, well, we can do like a marathon game, like a 12-hour marathon game. And they're like, all right, well, David says, I don't want to run that. That doesn't sound like a good time to me. And one of the other guys that was working on production, one of the fellas that we got started with, was like, I know a guy in the traditional sense. So they reached out and I'm like, yeah, it seems like a whole lot of fun. So I did a 12-hour game, and everybody on there was a Twitch streamer of one fame or another. Some of them played cozy games, and some of them did like VTuber stuff or music streams. And we'd play for 4 hours, and then we'd rotate. And I'd be like 3 months later, and now we have a different table of players picking up the story where it left off. And then play for a couple hours, and 3 months later, telling that story, continuing on. And the only person that didn't get a break really in that is me. But by the end of it, like, you got to remember, I'm just performing, or I'm just like leaning over a table. I've got a soft box 4 inches from my head that's just cooking me. And you can see me, the stream's still on our channel. It's called Deliver the Dawn. As I just keep going further and further deeper into a shade that matches the color of your hair. I'm a ginger, like I come by it honestly. But we raised a couple $1,000, which is great because this is the first time that I'd ever really put my face on the internet. Like, I'm not huge on social media in my day-to-day life. I use it for Logomancy, but it's not really my jam. So I didn't really think much of it. It wasn't nerve-wracking. I was just like talking to the cast, and occasionally I would look directly at the camera with no teleprompter, and like check in on rewards and stuff, and like do my best to just be like, all right, chat, they're like $45 short of a TPK here. Let's go. And just keep ramping things up and making it harder. And at the end of the thing, after signing off, we all did a like, where can people find you on the internet? And I gave an old handle from the Bird site that we no longer use, and didn't really think anything more of it because like not much. And I woke up the next day and I'm like, that was really fun. That was really cool. Like I had an experience. This was great. And I had hundreds of messages on that account being like, where can I buy the adventure that you ran, everybody? Like, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is all like dick jokes and like movie tropes and references and like 80s movie references. We had a unicorn in a swamp with a small child trying to pull it out. Like there was a whole bunch of that kind of like, callbacks. I'm like, I can't, it's for charity. Nobody really cared at that point. But it's obviously not something that I would consider. But I'm like, all right, well maybe this is something to pursue. And then we were talking about it later that day, and I got a view of the stream stats for it, and we had 271,000 viewers on a stream that didn't go live before, or like went live 2 or 3 times in its existence, which is a quarter of what Critical Role was pulling at the time. And to be fair, it was on the front page, but still, like that's a pretty good ratio of people sticking around in the TTRPG scene. So we got a bunch of the folks that participated in it together and said, we're gonna run a channel. We're gonna give this a go. Make sure the audio's good, dive everybody into it, and then kind of carry on. And we spitballed a little bit. And do you know the origin of the word logomancy?
I think I read it on your website. It's but please let everybody know.
So logomancy is something that you could have been accused of as a witch. Unlike bibliomancy, logomancy is the magic of suddenly understanding something by reading a book. So, in ye olden times, if you read that math textbook and understood math, that was sorcery. That was witchcraft. Like, you can't glean the secrets of the world just by reading, like, gender stereotypes. Whole big thing. But I really liked it because what is magic if not the spark of imagination that it prompts when taking in the words of others. It's how I fell in love with fantasy as a child. Is reading through the Belgariad, and Lord of the Rings was a big one. Basically anything like David Eddings, Robert Jordan-esque, and that flourished into what I get to do today. I get to drink beer on the internet with friends and call it a job. I get to travel and take pictures at cons and do videography work and be on stage in cosplay with friends and pretend to be a cutesy little mushroom guy.
Just a little guy.
Just a little guy. Couple boots.
Yeah, just a little guy. Well, on that, speaking of that, you moved from just doing this as a one shot for charity, and now it's a huge media and marketing arm. How did it evolve to that? Because I will say this right now, outside of Critical Role and Dimension 20, because Dimension 20 is attached to Dropout, there's not a lot of studios that get into the other weeds of marketing and things like that.
Yeah. So I've got a management degree and a background in marketing, and then that led into project management and risk management and analytics. That's what pays the mortgage at the end of the day. Everybody's got a day job, kids.
Don't let them lie to you. This is my job.
Yes. That said, when we got started into this, I'm like, this is really hard. When I'm looking over the data, I'm like, all right, I need to know what I'm in for. Why do so many streams fail? Or groups go live, but they're going live to 0 people or 1 person. What's with that? And David, my business partner, he's a marketing director as well. So we started looking into it and the nature behind streaming. And a big part of it is there's no resources out there for APs. If you can Google how to be a streamer, and you can find 1,001, multi-hundreds of thousands of followers channels on YouTube that will tell you exactly how to sound amazing and have the coolest streams, and just go to kudos.tv and plugging a thing, or you don't want to know how to get rich as a content creator, sell courses to other content creators telling them how to get rich as a content creator.
That is so true. The amount of money that people will fork over for, oh my god, don't get me started. That's
it's a thing.
It's a thing. Trust me.
As an autistic person, I love seeing how things work. Take apart the watch, take apart the VCR, piss mom off, have a go at it. And trying to figure out the chewy nougaty bits in the center of how this all works led me to a couple of things. Everybody's experienced this before. You sign into Twitch, You click the TTRPG or the D&D tag, and there's 30 or 40 people streaming right now, and you click on one, and you watch it for 5 minutes, and you get tired, and you move to something else, and you move to something else. You want to know why that is? At a biological level, the amount of mixing that goes into most of those is non-existent. So it's a Discord call, usually, or like a Zoom call, and they bring it in. And sometimes Zoom or Discord does its best. The reason that we use Video Ninja, or there's things like Riverside where you can mix everybody after the fact, is somebody on the internet a couple of years ago said the the Blue Yeti condenser microphone is the best microphone to use for podcasting and streaming and all that jazz. And condenser microphones are great. They pick up a wide area around things. If you're in a room and yours is the only voice, it can pick things up very, very crisp and pick up all the velvety nuance of it. When you have 5 people all using that kind of mic and it's all going into the same feed, even if you're using something like crisp and it's limiting things and putting on noise gates and stuff, you got a bunch of background noise that's not normally audible to the ear. And when you layer that 5 times and you join a stream and one person sounds like they're talking through a tin can on a string and another person's yelling from across the room while a third person's, cranked way higher than everybody else, all of that extra noise is fatiguing on the ears. And it's like, oh, that doesn't work. So step number 1, audio consistency. And we started doing that, and we started hosting games and inviting folks in because I want to make sure that we get a good rotation of folks at the table, right? Most of my TTRPG stuff is 3 or 4 session miniseries, because the other big issue that we have in the industry is you and 4 of your friends are going to play the same game every day of the week for the next 2 years, and you meet so many cool people at a convention, and I want to play with them, but it's like, oh, how's your Thursday in 2029? Like, that doesn't work. So I say, like, all right, the buy-in here is for 3 Mondays. That's all. 3. Maybe 4 if you guys are super into it and you can't wrap things, but that's it. And we can go back to back or alternate on streaming days, and it works. We can rotate our casts, give a voice to people that might not necessarily see 30 or 40 people in chat, or get to play with people that they never played with before. That was the whole concept behind like getting started with Roll for Wishes down the line, which is I'm certain something that we'll get into a little bit later. But that was step number 1, is just defining that criteria of what we wanted to do and keeping that consistency going, and then teaching people about it. So you agreed to be a guest on Roll for Beer.
True. Episode coming soon.
Yeah. It's probably going to come out in March-ish, I think, or February. I don't remember what we had said. Don't at me, bro. When we go through that, there's a sound check process that we go through where I'm like, all right, pretend you are a VA. I'm going to get you to run through your nasal register. I'm going to get you to go high. I'm going to get you to go low, because those are the different areas that you can really like piss somebody off as an audience member. And it tells me the range that you're going to be in, so I can, no matter whether you're being loud or quiet, your volume that comes through to the audience is always here. And so is everybody else's. That's how you get that consistency without, needing to use editing tools or, asking some not a human to do it kind of thing. Yeah, that's a big thing too. We try and make sure that everything's done by people, because creative endeavor should be.
Yes. Hi, editor Shelly, put in a smiley face here. Yeah. There you go.
Could I have something like a glass of beer right here, editor?
Sure. Yeah. Right, put a glass of beer. Yeah. Try to make it look decent.
Yeah.
with your limited skills. Thank you, editorship. It's just hey, I love a good GIF. I'm a child of the early 2000s, and well, I was born GeoCities. I was born the year that the GIF was a thing,
Amazing.
was made, and so it's like it was a match made in heaven. It was. By the way, you can use my face, utilizing your tenor and Giphy keyboards. Merry Christmas. There you go.
I have the same
Slight
thing.
plug.
If you go into Tenor and you type Logomancy,
See,
perfect.
perfect.
You'll be surprised by what maybe you won't be surprised, but
Maybe
you'll
you won't be
certainly giggle.
Exactly. There you go. Look. I'm all for the GIF. It's the best. Oh, God, I could go into this, and I'm not even like a media, like I don't even have like an English degree. Obviously, can you hear me talk? Jeez. But I think it's one of those. It is a great communication tool sometimes that people take advantage of, and there's so much. Oh God, there's so much nuance that you can by the type of GIF that you choose, the type of wording, and the keywords that you put in. It's amazing. I'm just saying. And also, yeah, I don't know. There's a whole lot.
My partner and I talk about this all the time because while she's at work and I'm at work, we chat back and forth either in Discord or like Hangouts, and we never communicate better than when we're typing to each other. Like if we've had like a romancy spat, and it's like I'm going over here and I'm like I'm going over there. Inevitably, 15 minutes later, it's like, hey, text. Because, again, neurodivergence is spicy and weird. And it's like, I mean what I say. There's like, here are the words. Take my like lack of facial expression out of it. And it's, studies have been done on like how emojis fit into our forms of communication now. And it's wild if you deep dive into it.
Oh yeah, I've been told that a thumbs up is passive aggressive, and I'm like, what? I just mean
I've been told that too.
I just mean, hey man, heard, understood, great, amazing. Unless you need me to say understood, great, amazing, you're getting a thumbs up or a heart. That's it.
What's your if you opened your Discord right now?
Oh God. Okay.
And you went to your emoji button.
My emoji button. Let's see.
What is the one that pops up first that you use more than anything else?
Oh, here. Let me not be in my own Discord. By the way, you can join it right now. Let me go into our DM of it all. Let's see. Top. It's a purple heart. It's a purple heart.
Mine's tied. It's an orange heart, or it's this. And it's just the word
valid.
Valid. Twice.
Oh, God.
I hear what you're saying, and I non-committally like accept and agree. But I don't have the spoons right now to engage more.
My frequently used one is a red heart, a purple heart, and a thumbs up, and a sideways, the cry laughing, because I am a millennial. Look, leave me alone. But one of my top used ones for my own Discord is me using, there you go, is me using this. And it's an emoji from my channel that just says, what the fuck, and it's my face going,
yeah.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. Hey, but yeah, you can get that and more. I love that. I love the GIF. It's like, let's go.
You should toss me an invite to your Discord. Or is
Oh,
it
hell yeah.
The one that's linked to your thing.
The
cat tree.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes, it is.
I will. Look
There
at
you go.
Later.
But yeah, that we could deep dive into language
We
learning
most
system.
The marketing hub that we're looking at. Like, again, I mentioned before, everything that we do with Logomancy is very much based on the idea that how do we make the community around us better at what they do? Like, I like performing. I like being on stage. Uh, I like being on camera. It's fun. I enjoy it. I get to talk to cool people. I am a producer and a director at heart, and I am best suited, I've found in the last few years, to let's take people that have actual, like, millions of followers, um, and let's set up a production and let them just fucking give her. And a good example of this is Roll for Wishes. So Roll for Wishes, we got started the following year after we did our Deliver the Dawn game. And Make a Wish had come back and they're like, that was really amazing and really good. Can we do something like that again? We don't have the budget to like rent out a studio, but like what could we do? And we said, well, all right, let's we can do the same sort of thing, but live stream it, and we'll do like a big like charity one shot. This is back in like 2022. They were still happening, but it's kind of early days in the scene. And we raised a couple $1,000 in a few hours. And she's like, "Oh, this is really good," but like, it's hard because we had 8 or 10 people lined up to do the thing, and I was only really looking for 4 players for it, just scheduling wise and like taking time out of my day. So we're like, a lot of work from me. How can I make this good but not a lot of work from me? And why does it have to be on my channel? Why can't it be on your channel or everybody's channel? Why can't you run your own game and cast your own folks and tell the stories that you want to tell using my like method for fundraising? And it's the idea of the if you're not familiar with Roll for Wishes, the tagline is like the points are made up, or the rules are made up, the points don't matter. The audience affects the game in real time. So it is a mechanically challenging game where the players will die if you don't help them. That you can really get crunchy with. And we use Tiltify as a platform, and the audience can come in and be like, oh, you guys are level 1 goblins? Here's $100. They get a wand of fireball. You're done. Like, cause chaos. Let's go. And inevitably, you can also say like, no, I want the bad guys to have magic items to hurt the players. So you monetize the trolls, right? You get about half the audience that's trying to murder them, and the other half is trying to give them stuff to save them. And it's all for charity. Like everybody understands the assignment coming into this of like, somebody in the audience that doesn't like you is coming here to torment you. And we're here for it because it's for
or they like you and they're just like, I like chaos more.
Yes, that is also a thing that happens. But we set up the donation path for it, and generally speaking, the folks that sign in, like a good example. So we ran a game in October with Neil Newbon, some of the voice actors from The Simpsons and Marvel Rivals. Jenny Yokobori and Crystal Lee were in it. Tank Tolman, a friend of mine, showed up.
Love Tank.
Yeah.
Love Tank.
Quincy's Tavern and Danny Phantom were a part. Tom DeVille, he's one of the writers for...
Love Tom! Love Tom and Neil. Tom and Neil. They come together.
He wrote Hannibal, the TV.
He was in the writing staff for Hannibal. I learned about him through Neil, and I was just like, I love Tom. He's so cool.
Great. But yeah, we got everybody together and aired it on Dice Cream's channel. Dice Cream's fantastic for doing promotion and like getting stuff out there. And we raised like $12,000 in 3 hours because Neil had a very narrow time slot to be able to do it. And it's enabling that kind of stuff. Just, it's a hell of a lot of fun. We can do a lot more good with a lot, do more with less, right? And that's a negative trend in the world nowadays, but it kind of rings true. Spoons are precious, and we only have so many, and burnout is a real thing, and trying to get to the point of still being able to affect good in the world in a positive way, and that doesn't feel like, you know, you're selling something. Because at the end of the day, like you got to be conscious of this kind of stuff. You never want to try and monetize a cause or something like, being genuine about it, and not burning yourself out at both ends trying to accomplish something just because you think you should or you're obligated to or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, on that burnout notice, mentioned how, I mean, eventually it does happen. How have you navigated burnout
So,
in this space?
a mutual friend of ours, Jem and Cece, we were talking about this a little bit ago. Jem recently started their own channel called the Goodberry Cafe. Has Jem been on the show?
Jim was on last season. Yeah,
Okay,
last
yeah.
season, season 2, and I had, I think around that time, had been on the Goodberry Cafe for a charity game, or a fundraising game. So
Yeah. Yeah, I helped do some of the production and behind the scenes for starting up, because they were doing the ACOTAR fundraiser, and we were talking about, like, all of a sudden you were wearing so many hats, and it's exhausting, and things still need to get done even though you're tired, and when people are giving you their time, you have even more pressure to not let them down, and it's a lot. And it came about to, like, CC made a TikTok about it, Colame, online for folks, of, like, how do you navigate burnout? What are the steps that you take around it? And I thought about it. It's like getting through the burnout isn't the hard part, or even recognizing it's like, oh, is this the burnouts? And meme of the butterfly could be in my hand. Is this the burnouts? Because it is. I promise it is. And if it's also the autistic burnouts, that's even harder to navigate. It's recognizing when it's okay to start creating again is the tricky bit to navigate, because it's like, all right, I'm burnt out, I'm exhausted. The idea of doing this stuff is no bueno. I just want to doom scroll. I just want to go to bed. Just want to, like, play video games with my kids and then just, like, not think about it. And it's been 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and something sparks that creativity, and you're like, I want to do this. Let's start planning immediately, because when you have some of the neurospices and you've found a new shiny hobby, I don't have hobbies. I collect hobbies. There's a difference.
yeah, do it now. Do it now.
Like, I had taken a little step back from doing TTRPG stuff because I'm like, a lot. I've got, like, business stuff that I need to do for Logomancy, and I can't, like, my efforts are on there and making sure that we pay our bills and meet our commitments and contractual obligations and stuff. And it wasn't about, like, I want to tell some stories, even though I enjoy it. And then somebody's like, what's awesome? Magic the Gathering. And I'm like, I played on the Pro Tour in Magic the Gathering in the early 2000s. Let's see what they're doing nowadays. It's a whole big thing. It was around the original Kamigawa. And some of my favorite times with conventions are sitting at 2 a.m. with your friends in your comfiest fit, playing some Magic at somebody's Airbnb or in whoever has the biggest hotel room.
Or the hotel lobby.
Or the hotel lobby.
LobbyCon.
Yeah, it's a thing. Everybody's loud and drinking around you, and you're just all trying to play Commander.
It's not my fault that Captain Robert has an agreement with freaking a beer company and he just has beer all the time. Yep. It's not my fault.
I've got 13 craft breweries that sponsor the podcast. I understand. I get it. But I wanted to. I'm like, oh, that's really good. We should do something about that. I should make a new show on the channel, and we're gonna call it Pillow Fort Pod. And it's just going to be, the only requirement is that you wear your comfiest jammies. And we'll sit and we'll just like play Magic, and you can see the board state, and we'll just like shit talk each other. It'll be great. And then that consumes like, 4 months of my life prepping everything and getting screen tests together. And now it's ready to go. And now I have to schedule things and everything else.
Oh.
And then the burnout slowly like it dips back in.
It's like, hey. Hey, buddy. No, trust me. Oh gosh. I love Magic. I started playing it last year. And oh my gosh. It's been one of my favorite things to do because I don't drink as much anymore. So like doing LobbyCon, eventually I'm babysitting at that point, and it's like, I don't want to babysit. I want to do something and I don't want to drink. Okay, what's the thing I can do? Oh, I can take up Magic, which is just going to be as expensive as drinking back in my really bad drinking days. It's just like smoking and drinking and woo!
I find myself babysitting anyways because I get, whether we're drinking or not, I'm like 6'2", and I'm a built like a football player, as they say. And I did like strongman training and stuff through my 20s, and built like moose, big strongman kind of vibe. And with that, as well as a proclivity to start drinking in the bush of a small town early, because rednecks, tailgaters, that kind of thing, bush parties.
Oh, I know a tailgate all too well.
Yeah. You get started in your early teens, and you get pretty good at it. Even if we're drinking all night, I'm usually the most sober one at the table, and still like full dad mode, making sure everybody gets home where they need to, and all of that jazz. But trying to play Commander while everybody's been heavily drinking is a recipe for disaster because there's too many things going on.
Oh, chaos. And everybody talks. Everybody's like, saying hi and everything like that. Oh, trust me.
Somebody squirrels.
Oh, yeah.
What's your do you play Commander or Standard?
Commander. I play Standard on Arena, on Magic Arena, because they only have Brawl, which is like Commander adjacent.
I don't play Arena. We play on Untap or on Tapped Out.
Oh, okay.
It's just like free deck builders. So
nice. I have paper Magic, but I also play it through spell tables, so I have like an extra camera and like you can see, whatever. Oh, mono green.
The first
elves.
deck that I know. It's the first deck I ever built. Back in like 1994, 1995. No, it might have been 96 because it was just before Odyssey had come out. And it was just like I was making a big green deck, and I have this thing where it's like I don't play sets where I'm like, Lorwyn's coming out in a week. I need to make a Lorwyn deck. Like
I'm excited for Lorwyn.
I'm doing a draft night with my nephew and my co-host. I bought one of those draft night boxes to get started. I have this thing with Magic where I'm like, a new set came out. Let's look at the spoilers. Oh, that one card would be really good in this deck, or that one would be really good in that deck. And eventually, your 60-card deck is now a 68-card deck. It's now a 75-card deck.
And now you have a Commander deck.
Almost 100, and most of them are singles, and it's like, I might as well just play. No,
yeah.
This is,
I play a lot of Commanders, so I understand all too well.
This is Yissen the Wanderer Bard.
Oh.
The idea that you throw them out, and it's like, a green and 2, tap. Go find a creature that costs 1 mana. And then you do it again. Now go find a creature that costs 2. Now go find a creature that costs 3. And it's just a couple of really easy things, especially in green.
Yeah.
Creature untaps and making mana are what green do.
Just put a Craterhoof Behemoth in there next.
No. Void Winnower and Ulamog. Like,
oh my gosh.
Primeval Titans. Like,
great. Yeah, no big deal.
we were talking about this the other day in the server, or in the Logomancy server, and I'm like, all right, I don't want to be a dick. So what's the kindest thing for me to add in here? And because we keep a channel in the Logomancy server for just card tables, and I'm like, right now I've got Void Winnower, which costs 9 because I need to be able to tutor something that has a mana cost of 9. And it's an 11/9, and it says your opponents can't cast spells with an even converted mana cost, and your opponents can't block creatures with even converted mana costs. You literally can't even. And it's fun, but it's really mean.
That is horrible.
Yeah.
That's
So,
wild.
so like,
Wild.
Who has some good recommendations that would be kinder than this? And somebody's like Apex Altasaur. And it's like, well, you throw it on the battlefield, and it's a 10/10. And in my deck, it's indestructible. And it fights every single creature on the board that I don't control one at a time. And just board wipes. And I'm like, how is that better than what I already have?
You know, eventually somebody will come out with a board wipe, and you'll be done.
Yeah.
Somebody will have a Massacre Worm in their black deck and just end it all.
Are you you said you've been playing for about a year. Do you do you quote the old magics? Do you go into like the older kind of cards?
I do have like older cards, so I do have some of like the what is it, interrupts. I have some interrupts in there, and then I have that's it. It all depends on like if I can't find a card and it's like, oh, this is the card and they only made it once and it's in 4th edition or it's in like Odyssey or anything like that. I'm like, I guess I'm digging. I have an LGS that's super cool and they have millions of cards and like they're all done in the different editions. And so I'm just like, I'm that stinky person at a LGS just digging through a box like, give me your singles.
I bring this up because you used it as an example, where somebody's gonna have a board wipe and just ruin your day. And one of my favorite Magic cards in all of existence is something called Life Force, and it's an old green enchantment. And there's an image of it in our Discord chat, and it's pay 2 green mana, counter a black spell as it is being cast. This use is played as an interrupt and does not affect black cards already in play. So, like, counter target black spell. And Painter Servant, you just tutor it out because that's what the commander does. Everything's black. So for 2 green mana, no.
Stop it.
Yeah. So the name of the deck is Solitaire because I'm just going to be over here playing Magic
by yourself
for a little bit
until it's gone. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, okay, so speaking of, you're making these you're creating new content, and you're bringing back your own podcast, Roll for Beer, because
we were on hiatus for about 5 months or so. We did a string of episodes at GCC that are just now scheduled and heading out on Spotify and YouTube this week. So we sat down with the folks from Mortal Rolls. They're a TTRPG group out of Edmonton, Alberta. And, with one member dialing in from New Jersey, but we love Ree. We sat down with Tim Smith. Tim Smith is the owner of Wiley Knight Talent. So Ginny D's manager, Dice Scream's manager, Dungeon Dad, Taylor's Tavern Tales, the Dungeon Dudes.
You know them, you love them. Everybody on TTRPG, YouTube, and TikTok.
They're all very, very sweet people. But for Roll for Beer, the reason that I wasn't asking like Kelly to come on, Josiah is gonna come on when he slows down a little bit, and because more Canadians equals good. I wanted to talk to Tim specifically about like the things that people don't think about. Right? For every successful like Legends of Evantris or Critical Role or whatever, the number of people working behind the scenes to make that work is staggering. And not just being like, oh, I want to thank the cast and the staff and the producers and the
No,
ADs and everything else.
it's like 60 plus people on those teams. Or it's four. Or it's four and you're cobbling things together and everybody's wearing 50 hats.
It's a pretty ramshackle organization, right? And guess what? It can be ramshackle, but it still counts. A ramshackle house is technically still a house. It's just cobbled together with like unicorn farts and hope. The thing. But I wanted to have that conversation and go through like what kind of work actually has to take place for all this thing. Like you saw your favorite creator at PAX. Cool. What happened to get them there? And if you've never attended a convention as a creator or as somebody working the con, it's kind of a different vibe. And getting some insight into that is really important. You know?
Yeah, getting a media badge for something. Like I got a media badge for Gen Con and it felt completely different from the year prior where I was running games at Gen Con. And I was just like, oh, this feels weird. People look at me differently. Oh no.
I'm allowed to skip a line here and there. Yay.
I'm allowed to be like, media?
There's a room upstairs that I can go and do a bunch of spreadsheet stuff.
Exactly. Or it's just like, I need to not people. Hold on.
Yeah. 100%. But having a lot of those insights into the industry and where people started and like what goes into it is kind of cool, right? Or the amount of project management that needs to go into things, the amount of risk management that needs to go into. Me and my crew are going to a con and we're going to have a booth. Okay, is everybody good for flights? Who's packing what in what suitcase? Are you doing carry-on? Are you doing checked things? Is the equipment that you're packing in checked luggage safe to do so? There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it. I have a big mishmash of people on my crew. And if I'm packing, a tote for keeping our booth going, it's going to have like an ouch pouch in it. It's going to have like, hygiene products in it. It's going to have all of the little things that I need to think about as a project planner and as a project manager, and disaster recovery avoidance, where it's like, worst case scenario, if there's a fire, do we have a quick means of like grabbing a cash box and like getting everybody accountable and like to safety, right? Leave it, let's go, like off we go. Which is really useful when the last big convention that you did evacuated 80,000 people because of a fire. The thing. It was a small fire. Everybody was okay, but having that level of prep go into things kind of matters. And so we talk about these kinds of things. It comes out in the podcast and it comes out in some workshops that we do for the public. Logomancy as a company, we do creative services works with other creators. So like, I'll sit down with the Pocket Dragon Pub is a good example. So we sat down with Vixie and it's like, all right, what's your workflow for getting your show going, for having your guests, for balancing their sound, for your outputs? What's your OBS look like? How many scenes are in there? How are your assets arranged? And most of the time people are coming to us, it's because they're having quality control issues, or they're like, that always looks really good or sounds really good, and I could never do that. And I'm like, you're using the same mic I am. Like it's not the mic, but that's not the thing. Or that burning desire to save up for an SM7B because they look really good, and forgetting that you also need to have a few $100s worth of interface to plug it into, otherwise it's going to sound like garbage. It's just a karaoke mic in a different housing. Like, it's the thing.
Yep. I mean, I love that approach to it, especially since a lot of people who have made it big it took trial and error.
Yeah.
And so the one thing I like doing, and the people that I like, is they don't gatekeep what made it successful. Yeah, you could say it's like lightning in a bottle and it just, whatever. But as long as you also agree, yeah, it took a lot of fucking work. Like, it took a lot of late nights and early mornings and sleepless nights if you have insomnia like I do, of editing and, fixing things and, doing your own graphics
And a good combination of skills that aren't in the TTRPG space specifically.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
amount
Yeah.
of people that have said, I love board games. We should open a board game store. And it's like, you don't know anything about retail or running a business or, financial literacy. You just really like playing games. There's more to it than that. Most of the like I'm a big stickler for clear, clean audio, and I'm a musician. I like I have an interest in that. So that was an expertise that I brought in. I say expertise, but more like, experience. Um we were doing a production of The Wild Sea at Gen Con. Um like on stage, sold some tickets for it, and I was doing sound, and a couple of the people that were on stage had never played a TTRPG on stage in front of an audience before. I'm like, all right, I'm doing sound. We want to make sure that this sounds good. I want to do the best we can for the crew and for MythWorks. Um, so I made a short YouTube video that like I left it private or unlisted and shared it on like, when you're on stage, this is the SM58. This is likely the mic that you're going to have in front of you. This is how you're going to speak into it whenever you're delivering your lines. You're not going to be, it's not going to pick you up if you back away too far. You're not going to point it directly at the speaker. You're not going to do these things. And it was just like a minute and a half of mic etiquette and mic technique. Um, Off axis. Are you familiar with the term banana phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Banana phone. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The furthest that you should ever be away from your dynamic mic is, a banana phone.
Yeah.
And I shared that out, and it's not published, but it's got something like 2,000 views on YouTube for something that was intended for 6 people. Because people share things out, and then they share things out, and they share things out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's really useful, because there isn't something like that already out there. So I made it. And I got tired of having to, when I'm helping my friends, or we're writing stuff for workshops, being like, there's no resources that I can point you to, kid. Like, I'm sitting at a public library with 50 kids that want to stream and their moms, and we start off with the whole 90% of streamers stream to 1 or 0 people, and the top 0.1% of streamers actually make at least minimum wage while they're streaming. And if you work full time at McDonald's, you're going to make more than the average streamer makes from streaming. So the idea of like, I want to play video games or play games online and make a living out of it, it's not really a thing. And we go into like building a community, safely determining what you want to do, balancing that out with life, that sort of thing. But there weren't really resources for the technical side of it. And so I said, like, all right, what are the problems that I've had to solve that Google couldn't give me an answer for? Or like, why is it when I bring 6 people into a D&D game, and all of a sudden OBS is only hearing 5 of them, and then somebody reconnects and now I can't hear you, but I could hear you before? Uh-oh. There's no answers for that. Like, there's technical answers on forums and stuff, but it's not easy. So I scripted out 60 videos that are each under like 3 minutes, and just answered my own questions, and started filming. Because you leave the world better than you found it. And my hope is that in a year or two, by the time I actually get the spoons to get all of that out, that it's something that's really useful for the next folks that are, trying to get things off the ground and have no idea what to start with.
You back kick the door open to make sure everybody gets through. Yeah, well, we have a
Canadian thing, and you hold it and wait for everybody to get through.
Exactly. Come on.
Yeah.
So about the microphone thing, oh God, I can't make the joke half the time because a lot of people don't understand. But I started drag not online, but in the club scene. So I was a working queen.
Yep.
I was in the club and I was on the microphone, and there's a reason why there's lipstick on a lot of microphones whenever you go to like drag shows or like see people live. There's a joke that we make. It's like, you hold it like you're sucking dick. Sorry, kids. You have it very close. I mean, like, and yeah, it's not like you don't have a pop filter and things like that, but like, you're trying to get everybody to hear you, not just,
Yes.
the camera.
Well, it's very different to like working with some creators. It's just like, well, I need a microphone, and I plugged the microphone in, and now I'm talking. Why does my stream sound so bad? I must need a more expensive mic. And it's like, you need 10 minutes of like audio literacy on being off center with your mic and having it pointed in the right direction. I going back to the Goodberry Cafe, there were a bunch of folks that had truly like never streamed before that were trying to help out Gem. And Gem had send one such wayward individual my way, being like, I can't, it's not working, and I don't know what to do, and I'm freaking out. And I'm like, you're using a microphone from the late 90s. It doesn't understand what USB 1 is, never mind USB 3. Let's see what we can do. And kind of worked it through, and I shared some video, and I'm like, this is what we've got it to. And they're like, that sounds better than my mic. And I'm like, I wasn't going to say anything, but like, here you go. It's the problem is solved. And I didn't change anything. He didn't buy anything. It's just, here's where it should be positioned. And you need to pass much in the same vein as the sucking dick test for drag queens on stage. We call it the blow test. And if you're using a dynamic microphone, so such as the pod mic, the original, $80 pod mic, the blow test is where if I go, none of the air that's coming out of my mouth should ever come in contact with this, because volume is not communicated through air. It's going to pick up all of the sound vibration, but I don't want any of the air going in, because that'll muddy the signal. Likewise, you should be no further away than a fist from your dynamic microphone. And if you want presence, or there's a bunch of extra noise kicking around, like when you're in the club, you want to kind of get right up on it. You see this with singers they're right on that mic.
Yeah. The only time that they go away from the mic is like whenever they're belting.
Yeah.
And that's
then most of that is for a good dramatic effect. You don't really need to get that far away from the mic when you're belting.
It's like, look how far I can make my voice travel. It's like, okay, come on. We get it.
And behind the scenes, what you don't see is that the sound guy at the back is just riding a fader, being like, more, so you don't cut out.
Exactly. Well, okay. I'm really excited for Roll for Beer. For one, because I get to be part of it. But two, I can't wait to hear like some of these really great interviews. And hey, I'm excited just to try some, drink some beer. I'm a drag queen that likes drinking beer. What can I say?
If you weren't in Texas, I would get you some beer, but it's a little far away to ship.
It's a little far. We do have craft beer here in Texas. We have some good craft beer places here. I'll grab a cider. I'll grab some cider. That will be my beer, or the fact that I can get it here, a Stiegel Radler.
Yeah. Interesting tidbit.
I love Stiegel.
Stiegel Radlers are one of my favorite, like summertime beverages. I'm allergic to grapefruit, and I can drink those.
Wow.
Which tells me, like I was drinking them before I
found out.
Allergy to grapefruit. And I could still drink them, and they're like, "Oh, it's real grapefruit." I'm like, I have suspicions.
There's probably it's like a LaCroix. It's like
maybe
the essence.
They're good. I don't give a shit. Like, it's a good time.
Yeah. Well, you know what a Radler is, right? Mm-hmm. So the Radler was created because they wanted a beer. Germans wanted a beer that wouldn't get them drunk, that they could still ride their bike on.
Yep.
And I love that fact. I learned that whenever I lived in Germany, and I was just like, oh, because Radler is bicycle. It's illegal to drink and drive, obviously. Yep. Yeah. But you can still bike and be drunk. And so that was, and also a lot of Germans, at least from what I've been told, when all I was there, living there, and I know German people, get at me in the comments if I'm wrong. There's a lot of places in certain towns that are bikeable. Like, there's a city that has they call it the Run to God or the Run to Jesus in Germany. And because a lot of the breweries started in, churches, and it's going from like one brewery to another, and it's like the one at the top of the hill is that. And so they want something that they can walk and drink, and
it's very refreshing.
It's so refreshing. I love a Radler. Whenever I saw it on tap at my local beer bar, I was like, there's Radlers here? Please give me the Radler. I used to drink that whenever I was in my undergrad, whenever I wanted to drink at that place, but I didn't want to get drunk because I still had to write like 6 to 8 page papers.
If we didn't want to get drunk, we just drank American.
That's so true. You just have to.
We don't drink American.
That's true. I don't like drinking Bud Light. Unless it's free, and then I'll take it.
My brother is really big into Bud Light nowadays, because he's like, because I can drink 40 of them and not get bloated. And I'm like, look, that is true.
But you shouldn't drink 40. Have you considered
not doing?
Look, there's a reason why a lot of people go through 40 packs in a weekend.
Yep. I grew up in a redneck coal mining town.
You're like, I know. I know all too well.
No, my drink of choice, like, I'm not an IPA guy. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, my beer tastes like hoppy and gross. I like Guinness. I like a stout.
Oh,
I like
wow.
Something sour. Like, if I can see through my beer, I'm doing it wrong. Kind of vibe. If it looks like pee, you've given me the wrong beer. That's not meant for me. It was somebody else.
It just depends on my mood, the type of beer I drink. Honestly, it really depends. If I'm also pairing it, like if I'm pairing it with food, or if I know that I'm going to be drinking, like I'm doing like a flight, I'll make sure,
One of these days, if you find yourself up here for a convention,
mm-hmm.
We'll take you and show you around for a couple of really good craft brews.
I was like, that sounds like a threat. We'll show you around. It was the hand rubbing. It was the hand rubbing.
A huge aside. I had to fly to Vegas for a work conference last year, and I got invited to this schmoozy bigwig tech thing, and I had the logo on a lapel pin on my suit, and somebody's like, "Oh, you're from Canada. We need to teach you how to drink." And I'm like, and they're like, "What are we drinking?" And at the time, there was the whole big like tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. Like, we're drinking Crown Royal because it you would have had to spend way more to replace it, and I felt personally vindicated by that. Um,
I will say this is a Canadian house. My mom drinks Canadian Mist
oh yeah,
daily.
yeah,
It's like I've been knowing what Canadian whiskey is since I was a child
yeah.
and how to pour it.
Crown is very much a staple where we're at. They've made some questionable choices in the last little while, but uh, Canadian Mist is good. I enjoy it. I prefer like a Bushmills, like a Black Bush, uh, at this point, or I drink a lot of Scotch. Like Scotch became my thing as a. I turned 30 and I'm like, all right, I'm either gonna like get super into like 3D printing, or I'm gonna start drinking Scotch. Like one of these two things is gonna happen.
Poor Kalos Dos. No, I'm a gin drinker, so
My
I've
wife
been
as well is super into gin.
I've been drinking gin since my early 20s. People call me a grandma. I'm like, I love it.
Look,
It's super simple and you can't fuck up a drink.
I love the taste of juniper and pine needles.
Yeah.
Like, it's a thing. It's great.
Look,
Um,
look, Canada has a really good gin out of out of Victoria.
mhm.
So the Empress gin that everybody likes, the pea flower gin and their other gins that they have, that's from Victoria.
I've got one better for you.
Ooh,
So
okay.
there's a place here close to Calgary called Eau Claire Distilleries. EAU, Claire with an E, and then distilleries. They make a prickly pear gin from prickly pear cactus, and it is.
Do y'all have cactus up there?
I mean, you can grow cactus here in greenhouses.
Oh yeah,
No, they buy cactus
okay.
from Mexico.
I love prickly pear. The fact that
It
there's not a prickly pear cactus gin is prickly pear beer is a thing,
Yeah.
and I love that prickly
I'll-
pear.
You might be able to find it
I might.
somewhere near you. If you're super into gin, I would recommend trying to find a bottle for it because
Mhm.
it's
I will drink a prickly pear anything. Oh my gosh! Now, I guess I'm going to Specs one day. Jeez, Specs. Hey Specs, you can totally sponsor the stream. You can sponsor the podcast. Thanks. But with all that being said, beer and gin and whiskey aside, play your shit. Tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me at logomancy.ca or at Logomancy Media, where all fine internets are sold. We have a whole bunch of shows on the roster, both actual plays, which are Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Saturdays is the Shattered Future series, which is run by my good friend Neon Graffiti, highlighting the Emergent TTRPG system, which is a new indie system that we've been hosting for just about a year now. Wednesdays is our Frontier Adventure Company game, which is a 5e game that's been running for a couple of years, just kind of rotating the cast out. And our Monday games are our Legends of Logomancy series, where we sit down with a rotating cast and play different TTRPGs that nobody's ever tried in little mini episodes of, 2 to 4 sessions, and then we move on to something else and try different things. It's been a really good way to play test and actually get to play with friends rather than existing in the same space. We've also got a couple more series coming out, and I actually wrote these down so I wouldn't forget to sit and talk about stuff. First of which is Rolling for Insight. We've paired up with a good friend Kayla, and she started both a YouTube series and a podcast working with mental health professionals, talking about how they can. We all talk about how D&D is not your therapy session. Nobody consented to that. Nobody's like on board for you to use a shared space to work your issues out without consent. But what if it was? what if everybody at the table was a therapist, and somebody was just using that gamification to explore different issues? So that's what Rolling for Insight's based on, is looking at the dynamics of that, what to avoid, and seeing the actual data behind it. We talked earlier about Pillow Fort Pod, a new Magic the Gathering series where I get to collect up all of my Magic playing friends and sling spells with them in our comfiest fits while drinking cozy beverages, and just like being gross on the internet by playing things like Void Winnower. I'll apologize for many things, but that's not one of them.
If that's the case, if I ever get invited, I'll bring my bracket for life gain, death touch vampire deck.
You know, the best life gain deck that I ever built is mono blue. Like, it just puts white decks and black decks to shame.
What? Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to.
Share it with you.
Yeah.
And then the last is it's called Chaos to Calm. It's something that's been a pet project for me and my partner for a little bit, where in an effort to deal with the burnout, I really went deep into the idea of a short rest. This is an ASMR time-lapse series using an Oasis. Oasis is a sand art and magnet art display. So drawing imagery and slowly in the sand over time, and just doing some time-lapse videos of like, take 10 minutes, chill out, watch a cozy little ball draw a dragon in the sand for you. Like, and then we're working through some portraits and stuff, and like finding pictures of friends and transitioning it into like getting drawn into the sand. And it's been very cathartic and very relaxing, and it's exactly what I needed in my life right now. So yeah, if you're in the convention scene, we're going to be at Terminal City Tabletop Convention in March in Vancouver, British Columbia. We're going to be putting on some panels related to accessibility in gaming, accessibility aids, safety tools, and why we don't use the X card. If you're in the space, come check it out. Otherwise, I might throw it up on YouTube after that. GameCon Canada, come June, we run a large Make-A-Wish auction where folks can come and bid on stuff donated, like these busts from Dropout that are behind me sitting in boxes. All of the minis that they used in their Dimension 20 games were donated to charity that people can donate for. And you might get to see us on stage with the Beetle and Grimm's crew, like Matt Lillard and I'm forgetting Bill's last name off the top of my head. He'll forgive me. He's a very, very nice man. But for Faster Purple Worm Kill, we're gonna turn that into a charity event and see how fast we can kill some celebrities. So should be a good time. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Hell yeah. I'm excited about that. I can't wait. I love a good Faster Purple Worm Kill moment. It's good times. It's good times. Well, with that being said, you can find all those links for Logomancy and James down below in the show notes and everything like that. Go check them out. And if you're in Canada, definitely go check out what they're up to. Speaking of finding people on the internet, you can find me everywhere on the internet at Shelly Von Miller, because branding is important. Hi. Branding is important. If we learned anything from this podcast episode, to include Patreon. Become a patron for free and get a monthly newsletter with a homebrew item that you can use at your table. Or if you want to pay and help a little creator like me make more content, you get all sorts of stuff, to include the lovely little table sets episode that we're about to record. Hey, I'm just saying. Paid tiers start at $7 a month, and if you want it all, you can have it all for $25. No, literally, that's what the tier is called. It's called I Want It All.
Have it all? Is this the part where I have to like...
No, no, that's not this. Hey, that's not on the Patreon, kids.
No, that's on the other site.
Yeah, that's on the other site, and I have to pay for that, okay? Look.
Interesting tidbit. when we registered the company, I actually had to proactively, and we talked about all of the things that people don't think about. I registered an OnlyFans for Logomancy.
Just in case.
When we grabbed everything else, because I work with a plethora of different performers, and we made the joke. Like, I don't make light of like, sex work is work. It's a thing. We don't diminish or like use it as the butt of a joke. But for a short while, I'm like, look, if somebody out there is gonna be like, oh, you can find Moongazer's feet over here. And I'm like, if anybody's going to get rich off of your feet, it's going to be me.
It's going to be me. It's going to get charity.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, it's not even the person who's playing the character's feet. It is the character art. Oh, I was going to say, it's character art of feet. That's what it is. It's just like a hoof, a foot, a flipper, something like that.
I had the shortest, I'm like, I didn't do it because I'm like, nah, this would be a little distasteful. I'm like, Valentine's Day or like April Fool's, I'm just gonna like have a video on Instagram of like dipping my foot into a bunch of dice.
Oh gosh.
Like OnlyFans. Like,
I'm gonna write that down real quick. Hold on.
You can have that one for free.
Thank you. Well, with that being said, I love you guys very much, and I will see you on the internet. Goodbye.